Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you like the content, hit the subscribe button, leave a like down below. With OVW joining Ultra Pro Wrestling, it kind of opens up Pandora's box for what else they could add. The way they approach DLC with the 50-50 split, what's to stop anything from coming to the game? So for today's video, other than wrestling promotions like WoW, TNA, New Japan, I mentioned this in the previous video, why not just wrestling IPs in general, or video game IPs, anime? We'll get into it real quick. Alright, so I picked out 5 things that I feel would fit very well with Ultra Pro Wrestling. So if you guys are watching this, I hope this becomes a reality, because I made a video on teaming up by becoming the official, unofficial wrestling game for companies like TNA, New Japan, OVW. I even listed OVW in the video, and you guys went and did it. So that's awesome. I'm not saying I gave you the idea, I'm just saying I can't believe we had the same idea. That is awesome. Okay, so hopefully this is in your guys' brain, but if not, I want to put it in there. Okay, number 1, and I've said this in another video a long time ago, Ultimate Muscle. Ultimate Muscle would fit Ultra Pro Wrestling, I think, very, very well. In fact, Ultimate Muscle was made by Aki, the very company you guys are trying to make a successor to, if you will. Right there, Aki's on the box. This is the one they made on PlayStation, kind of the green screens kind of make it go invisible. Actually, that looks kind of cool. Looks like one of those hologram screens. Anyway, I held on to these because these are the only Ultimate Muscle games, other than the Game Boy Advance one, that released in the States. And they're super fun games. They just needed, I think, maybe 1 or 2 more games in the franchise to really flush it out. But for what we got, with their probably limited budget, those are some of the most fun wrestling games I've ever played. Now, they have a whole anime. I got that too. They just released this on Blu-ray. I love this thing. I feel like with Hal Haney, if you guys teamed up with Hal Haney, Ultimate Muscle would be awesome with you, with you guys teaming up. I feel like you guys have the eye for detail that could really bring back Ultimate Muscle to the masses. You'd have to team up with whoever owns the IP right now, which I believe is... oh, it's Toei Animation. I mean, why not? Why not? Team up with Bandai, team up with them. Even if you could just get the licensing to use them in the game, because it's a 50-50 split, I feel like, why not? Free money for them, good money for you. I think Ultimate Muscle is like a no-brainer at this point. Great way to bring back an old anime that really never caught fire here in the States, and it's been a long time since it was relevant in Japan also. Alright, number 2. Now, unfortunately, I ended up trading these games in because they weren't as good as SmackDown for me, but I still loved them. I don't know why I traded them. I wish I kept them because they're worth a lot of money now. And that's Def Jam. The Def Jam series. How cool would it be if you guys could team up? You could just call it the Def Jam promotion DLC, or the Def Jam whatever DLC. I don't know what the terminology would be or wording on that. That would be freaking awesome. You could get Ice-T, you could get Snoop Dogg, you can get all the wrestlers that were in there, or all the rappers that were in there, Little Kim. I mean, all of this would be so cool just to bring those people to the game and just build up your guys' roster. And it's 50-50. It's like a no-brainer. It's like, it's not like, oh, you see where I'm going with this? The possibilities are endless now that you've opened this can of worms with OVW. The fact that that could be the thing that opens the door for all this other stuff down the line, let's do it. Ultimate Muscle, Def Jam, awesome. Number 3. Now this game's a little more recent, but I feel like it didn't get the love it deserved because it wasn't your typical wrestling game. It was a wrestling RPG, and that's WrestleQuest. Why not team up with the folks over there that made WrestleQuest and kind of give scratch each other's backs to help promote each other's games? You give them a few characters as DLC for their game, you guys make money off that. You put some of their stuff in your game, make them playable wrestlers in Ultra Pro Wrestling. And how cool would that be? It'd be awesome. It'd be a great way to just help each other out in the indie scene. Like when Ultra Pro Wrestling comes out, they'll put eyes on WrestleQuest, and WrestleQuest will put eyes on you guys, and then you can team up for future things down the line. If you, let's say they want to make an Ultra Pro Wrestling RPG, there you go. You got a company, team that'll probably do it for you. So, WrestleQuest promotional DLC, that'd be awesome. Now, next up, I believe you guys mentioned this in one of your early videos, and since Capcom is not using it, it'd be awesome if you guys could get Slam Masters DLC. Talking the promotional, like the arena, how it all looked and everything, the characters, all that stuff. Now, full disclosure, I didn't play Slam Masters until recently because back then I didn't really play wrestling games until we got to the PS1 and the N64. That's when I really started getting into wrestling games. I did play the which one was it on Super Nintendo, where you could shoot like fireballs or whatever. I played it for like 2 seconds. It was kind of like Mortal Kombat. I didn't play it very long, enough to like really remember it, but I did try it out a long time ago. I feel like when we got to the 3D game space, that's where wrestling games really stood out to me, and that's where I fell in love with them. So it'd be awesome to see these characters represented again in a modern game. And what better game to do it than Ultra Pro Wrestling, Slam Masters? I mean, you guys already talked about it, so why not officially have Capcom stuff in your game, if they'd allow it, because they're a pretty big company. And then last on the list, and I actually did keep this original game. I have the 360 one too, but I couldn't find it. And I know you guys are trying to be more of like family friendly, so obviously the characters would have to be nerfed a little bit, right? I'm talking about Rumble Roses. Konami isn't doing jack with this franchise, and I feel like it's one of the funnest, albeit the subject matter, it is a fun wrestling game. They have really cool characters. They all have a gimmick. The entrances and stuff are really fun. The gameplay was really fun. The first game actually had a story mode. The second game did not. But I just think it would be awesome to have Rumble Roses get some love and come back with Ultra Pro Wrestling. Like I said, obviously you probably have to nerf some of the character models, because, yeah. But it'd be cool to see Hal Haney's versions of all the ladies of the Rumble Roses universe. That would be freaking awesome. The whole reason I made this video is because I would love to see Hal Haney's take on all these characters and all these franchises that I just mentioned. So let's do a quick rundown. Number 1, Ultimate Muscle. No brainer. Number 2, Def Jam. Again, with the 50-50 split, why wouldn't they want to be a part of your game? I feel like that could be a possibility with the way you guys have done the 50-50 split. I think that's genius. At first, I know I made a video about it, like concerned that all the, not necessarily the 50-50 split, but the way all the real wrestlers were going to be locked as DLC. But it's the only way to get them in there, because otherwise you probably have to give them a percentage of the game sales, and funding is like non-existent right now, so I understand the 50-50 split. Great choice. Third on the list, WrestleQuest. Again, you guys could scratch each other's backs, really help promote the game. If they ever want to make an RPG for you guys with your characters, Ultra Pro Wrestling, there you go. And that way you could put all their characters in your wrestling game. So basically you scratch each other's backs. I feel like that'd be awesome. Really help each other on the indie scene out. Number 4, Slam Masters, because Capcom ain't gonna do anything with that franchise, so why not let you guys have a crack at it? At least have the characters in the game to really bring eyeballs to that franchise, and maybe have Capcom get inspired and bring it back with a modern take on it. Imagine if we got a Street Fighter visual version or take on a Slam Masters modern day wrestling game. That'd be awesome, man. I would love Capcom to make a wrestling franchise. That'd be awesome. And then last but not least, one of my favorite wrestling franchises. They only got 2 installments, Rumble Roses. Again, probably have to nerf it a little bit, but I would love to see Hal Haney's take on all these franchises, all these characters, and to see what you guys come up with moves, entrances, creation parts. I forgot about that. All the creation parts from all these franchises being in this game would make it the most ultimate wrestling game. You would never need another wrestling game ever again. You would never need a wrestling game ever again if you got all these in there. All these parts. mean, it depends on how much stuff from these games you got in there, but anyway, I've been blabbering on long enough. I would love to see these represented in the game. I have no idea if it's possible. I don't know all the legal loopholes you'd have to jump through to get stuff from Konami, Toei Animation, Def Jam, WrestleQuest. I feel like would be pretty doable, and then Capcom. I don't know. I feel like they'd be pretty open to it with that 50-50 split. Anyway, thank you for watching. Sound in the comments below what franchises you would love to see Ultra Pro Wrestling add to the game. It doesn't have to be wrestling. It could be anything that would actually fit in the universe. And stay frosty.